Hi guys, this is Adam with Contest Prep University. I'm here with Dr. Kori Propst, and today we're going to talk about how to manage transitioning into post-show. So Kori, this is one that we get a lot. Motivation's really high. You're, at the peak of your fitness level that you've ever reached. You're in the best conditioning of your life. You're conserving calories. You're just so you're so efficient energy-wise right now. You're at the lightest body weight you've ever been. And now the show is over. So, oh my God, what do we do?
Yes, it's like, well, now what? And I think a lot of people move into that space and they're kind of surprised, which surprises me because I'm like, I want to anticipate everything before it even happens and know what it's going to be like. And, on that note, Adam, I do think it's really important for individuals who are prepping and who have coaches especially to start early and have the conversation and collaborate around, like, what can we anticipate post-show? And really sit down and write down let's acknowledge what the possibilities are going to be. What might I experience? Because it's a time when we do want to take care of ourselves. I mean, we spent however many months, I'm air quotes here, guys, taking care of ourselves as best we can in such an extreme sort of environment, right? This is an extreme sport. And we want to continue that. I remember when I was competing, Adam, post-show, there was a little bit of elation that would happen for most people because it's like, oh, I can eat and I can eat anything I want and I can eat however much I want. And and it was almost, it's too much though. Like to go from, because we are in this environment of scarcity when we're prepping, to this 100% abundance can begin to feel a little bit overwhelming. So 2 questions: what might I experience? Discuss that with your coach. And usually coaches have, and ideally have, competed before and have prepped a lot of clients and are experienced in this, so they can educate you. And then how would I like to ideally care for myself post-show? Something to consider is that whenever something ends, there's a mourning period, right? Like, it's going to feel like we need to grieve a little bit for a quote unquote loss. We spent, like you said, so much time focusing on and devoting our time and devoting our energy towards this one goal pursuit, and then it's done. And yet, and I've done a lot of talks on this, and yet a lot of what we were involved in can continue. A lot of what we're involved in needs to shift in some ways in terms of the details, like how much we're eating, but we still need to eat. So to consider, not just how much at that point, but let's still take care of ourselves in terms of the nutrient-dense foods that we're eating. Let's still plan our meals because that's a healthy thing to do. Let's still stay involved in some amount of prepping our meals because that's a healthy thing to do. That's not just a contest prep client thing to do. Healthy people do that.
Yes.
So I would ask, what can be kept semi-routine that we're already doing? What can we just keep doing and just, change a little bit of the details around? The other thing, Adam, I would say is that the physiological changes, like you alluded to, where we're the most efficient we've ever been, we're also the most metabolically low we've ever been, and suppressed as we've ever been. Those physiological changes that occur often contribute to a lot of the mental and the emotional shifts that we experience. So we might experience a sense of sadness and loss. We may, and this is something that I certainly experienced, not just post-show, but during my prep, was depression. I remember when I was competing and Joe was my prep coach, he would be like, dude, I haven't seen you smile in 6 months. And all I wanted to do was give him the finger. Like, if you knew how I felt, you would understand. But yeah, I very, very low energy. You know, Kori at 5% body fat is not Kori at 10% body fat or 12% body fat where I'm at right now. It's a night and day difference. Our hormones are changed so much. So I think that we can use a little bit of mindfulness and not judge the feelings when they come on, not judge them when they show up, but just give ourselves a little bit of compassion for what we just went through because it's not easy at all. And it is extreme, and the body is not going to function like it would when we're feeding it more food and when hormones are online and things like that. So what do you think about this stuff so far, Adam?
I think this is great information. And just like you said, you know, all those automatic functions, your breathing, your heart rate, those all slow down. And that's all so we can survive. It's why we're here today. And I think a lot of people, unfortunately, they're like, I want to be lean all year round. I want to be in the best shape possible all year round. It's really hard to manage that. Now, if you're a model that does a lot of photo shoots, you know, that might be where you do, you know, not pack on as much size in the off season. But when you're that elite level of leanness, it's great to, you know, transition out of that, but have a good mindset and knowing that your body is going to change. But just like a runner can't race every day, a bodybuilder can't compete every day and essentially get better. So managing and transitioning out of post-show is key to put yourself in a great state of growth. So as we were talking, I was just thinking about a client who's actually really excited about post-show because we've been talking about it already. During her prep, she ended up just a little smaller than she realistically thought she was going to be. So she's someone I'm not really worried about. She is so excited to grow. I think she could almost care less about the show she's getting ready to do in 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, you make a really good point. And if all of us could move into the transition and the change and the shift with a level of acceptance like that, and even excitement and curiosity, like, I wonder what this is going to be like. This could be really cool and interesting, as opposed to, oh God, my body's going to change. I'm not going to be as lean anymore. And oh my God, my body composition is going to go up. That's huge, huge. And I think for a lot of competitors, it comes with experience, because we learn different ways of moving with those changes with a little bit more ease and kind of less judgment. But it's awesome that you guys are having the conversation ahead of time. I think just, you know, from a coaching perspective in general, clients need to know what to expect. Because as a human being, we don't like uncertainty. It's not comfortable. We run from it. We avoid it. We really value having answers. And while in this situation, there's really no black and white answers for how you're necessarily going to respond, for us to be able to say as coaches, you know, here's what a lot of my clients have experienced. This is something you could be in for. Let's watch for that together. Let's stay in communication and collaborate. And, you know, we'll make changes as we need to, I think is really valuable.
Absolutely. I think that's definitely key. And I've always noticed, and you probably have too, the first time you take a client from, you know, pre-show to post-show is usually more difficult if if they haven't done it before. And just that experience of the first off season from doing a show is extremely valuable.
Mm-hmm. You know, I recall, so I did when I was competing, I competed for 6 years. I did 20 shows. I remember it was probably after my second or third show when I gained the most amount of weight, and when I had the most amount of trouble, if I can even call it trouble, kind of not going off the deep end with eating a lot of food. And I say that, guys, and I want you all to recognize, and this is no mystery to all of you, but when you're in such a deprived state and there's been so much restriction happening, that's literally the body protecting you. When you feel that drive to eat, that's not there's something wrong with your self-control. That's not you don't have enough willpower. It's not that. The body actually releases hormones because you're starving. You're literally at a place, food-wise, body fat-wise, where, you know, your brain is going to move you towards a drive to forage and find food. But it was after, because, and I think it happened that way for these reasons, Adam. Didn't happen the first show or the second show because I was like super rigid. Like, I'm not going to let that happen to me. I'm not going to gain a bunch of weight. Like, that's not going to be me. I'm not going to be that person. But then, like, you can only maintain that for so long before you break, before you crack. And so I wasn't in a place then too where I had a coach who could say, okay, this is going to be the healthy way to transition out of the show. I was doing it all on my own. So it was a lot more difficult. And then we move into like third show, still like didn't have anyone that like was helping me anticipate, but it just got to that breaking point where I couldn't diet anymore. I was essentially dieting for like 3 years. So yeah, you can't do that. You can only do that for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing for you to do that on your own.
What's that?
That's amazing for you to do that on your own.
Well, I don't know if it was amazing. You know, it took a lot of reading and it took a lot of research, and you know, I talked to people who had, you know, competed before, but it was a lot of experimentation, and I mean, I didn't do very well at them, but yeah, I certainly, the game would have been different if I'd had an experienced coach to help me understand and predict and anticipate what was going to happen.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's great that we have YouTube to be able to put out this information and help people, you know, who maybe are self-coached, and, you know, they can hopefully, you know, learn some good information from us on how to transition and manage post-show. So
yeah.
Thank you so much for your time today, and we will move on. Stay tuned, everyone. We're going to move on to low motivation next. So I'm Adam with See You Later Leaner, and this is Dr. Kori Propst, and we will see you on the next Contest Prep University.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, guys.